Hi guys. I guess people are following as they following. So I received a whole. For those who don't know, I'm Rachel Whigham. I have been a top income earner with It Works for 4 years now. I've been with the company for 5.5, and I received some messages from people asking, why am I still here? And I think it's a valid question, especially when you're not sure, or you're looking at these people and they're walking out the door. I think that what happens in this business is, you know, well, first of all, so I started this, just so you guys can relate to who I am. I started this business as a single mom, and I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I had a master level position, a lot of events. If you guys have been with the company for any time, you've seen me on stage before. I think within the last year, I have not been to an event and not been on stage. I think I was on stage the first time at conference in 2000 and I think 17 was my first time on stage at conference, and I've pretty much just been out in the forefront since then. I'm very vocal about my relationship with Christ, and I will tell you this: I've always known Jesus, y'all. Listen, I'm alive, but this business made me take my relationship with Jesus just more seriously. It did. Like when you work as an entrepreneur, you have to have a faith muscle if you're going to survive, and you're going to be out here scavenging for any type of opportunity that comes by. I'm telling you, you have to have that faith muscle, and you have to have some, discernment, or really tapping into the Holy Spirit, because if not, you're not going to be here. It's just real. Because life is not always peaches and cream, and it's not going to be peaches and cream just because you make a lot of money. And that's what happened for me. I came in and my upline quit. A product of the upline quitting, and she's somebody I still know, which is fine. That's her journey, and I decided I didn't join for her. She was the reason why I started. Like, why in the world would I quit because she quit when I started? Because I saw the opportunity to make money. I didn't start because of her. She was never my why. So that's number one. When you have people coming into the door, if you're not giving them a real why, if you're not giving them, but if you're not coaching them to really dig deep and not be superficial like everything else in this entire world is, they won't be here, because they're going to have something surface. And then even if it's money, it can't be money. I tell people from jump, your why cannot be money. If it's money, you make the money, then what? Or the money doesn't come, then what? It has to be something so much more. So for example, when I started, it wasn't the money, it was keeping my son in private school. He went to a private school. I was a single mom. Oh my gosh, I was so broke, y'all. Like, I was so broke. I had a master's level position, and I couldn't even keep my lights on. I was picking between lights and water, and then I was doing hair on the side, and my son was in private school, and that was just so important. So he had to have clothes for school, and I had to make his lunch every single day. And so when this opportunity found me, it was like, my God, like I could make extra money from my phone, or I can go out and rap somebody. Like, what a blessing. So I decided to really dive in. And when I went to conference, so if your team's not going to conference, or you're not going to conference, you're out your mind, because conference is what solidified my existence in this business. When I went to conference in 2014, Freedom Conference, hey, it was way back in the day. And I went to conference, y'all, and they had praise and worship. I was like, where do they do that at? Like, I've never been to a corporate event and we have praise and worship. My mind was just blown. I was just like, what is this? Like, what did I sign up for? But that solidified my existence. When I heard about Cindy praying over chairs, I'm like, okay, this might be something I need to stick around for. But that solidified it for me. It was like, man, if y'all love God as much as I do, and clearly you probably love me more than I did at that time, then, this is somewhere where I can grow. The products are bomb, completely changed everything I know about life, and there's so many opportunities to make money. So that was one thing. Then on the flip side, so after I went to conference, upline gone, I went diamond in 10 months, got a $10,000 bonus. After that, went on, got double good bonuses, decided I was going to run for it, got fired from my job, decided I wasn't going back to a job, and I was going to do this even when times were hard and I had to do hair. I had to pick up heads because I had lost bonuses because of me, because I was not working. I didn't think that the business didn't work because I wasn't working. The business doesn't not work because you're not working. And this is not somewhere, even though what we do is more conducive to life, And I'm so thankful for that. So me being able, like I had to go up to my kid's school 5 times, y'all, in the last 7 school days. Yes. So I'm able to do that. I used to work overnights at a juvenile facility. I used to have to work shift work, which means that if you don't get off work, if your relief doesn't come, you have to work until somebody comes. And who's picking up your kid? Who cares? They don't care. You have to work on holidays. I worked on New Year's. I worked on Christmas. They did not care about my life. And so to be in a position to where I can control my life, hands down. That doesn't mean you don't have to work. Yeah, if you want to go and work a job and just sit there all day and give away your time, do it by all means. But that's not what I wanted to do. And I understand in order to have this freedom that I have to work. Now, 5.5 years. So that means that I've went through a process. I've felt the momentum. I felt where momentum was just like, and it was just going crazy. I've earned $240,000 in bonuses. I've went to where, even as a presidential diamond, seeing checks that were $40,000. Like, I've seen that. But what happened was, when you're not rooted and grounded, and I'm just going to be real with y'all. Like, if you're not rooted and grounded and you don't come from money, you don't know what to do with it. I remember one time getting a 5-figure check. My first time getting my 5-figure check, y'all. And I was scared. I was like, why are y'all trusting me with this money? Like, what in the world? I've never seen, like, nobody in my family has seen this kind of money. Like, I come from a military background, so kudos to everybody who's in the military. My grandparents in the military, my uncles in the military, my stepdad was in the military, just military brat. And you either went to the military or you went to school. Like, that was it. And then you just lived the basic life, and you just never paid off all your debt. You're never debt free. And so now I'm coming into this company and they're like, debt free is the new sexy. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, debt free is sexy. I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't know anyone who is debt free. So that means nothing to me. And that was my life, y'all. Like, it meant nothing. I used to go to all conferences and be like, yeah, I'm gonna be debt free. Yeah, and then I'm going out and I'm buying a Louis Vuitton. Like, bruh, you don't want to be debt free. Like, you want a Louis Vuitton. You want some Valentinos. You don't want to be debt free. And so that's what I was doing. I was going through a journey. My husband and I, we went on vacations galore, okay? And we upgraded. We stayed in the tip of the top. We did it. Like, this business allowed us to experience things that we had never experienced before in life. And during those times of experiencing, yeah, I'm still enrolling, but I'm not working like I was working when I was broke. Can I just be real? Okay, like, when I was broke, sweetie, I stayed up till 3 a.m. Like, but my team, like, you need this in your life. Like, I was thirsty. I was super thirsty because I was broke and I was tired of being broke. I did not like how I felt and I wanted it to be taken away. Now, something that I've learned is that because that was my driving factor, when I was no longer broke, nothing drove me. I didn't have a new drive. And yeah, I had a new why, but it became like superficial. It was like, oh, I want to build a house. Oh, I want a new car. Oh, I want to do this. It wasn't anything that was like strong enough, like deep down in my core, like being broke was, to where, yeah, I maintained, but I wasn't growing. So thank God for God's grace. And that's why I think that in 2016 is where my word was actually discernment. And I was like, man, God, I gotta hear you. Like, I gotta know what's good and what's not good. Like, what's good and what's God. Like, I have to, because at this point, I'm not getting better. Like, I'm staying. Thank God for sustaining my life, y'all. Like, thank God for it. But I'm not growing. I feel like I just can't get to that next level. I just can't. I'm struggling to get to that next level. And then in last year, it was obsession. And so I didn't know what I was going to be obsessed with, but y'all, I became obsessed with Jesus, like legit obsessed with Jesus. And it's just been the best thing ever. But we know that, man, when you start doing things the right way and when your eyes start to open, you start to realize how much you jacked up. Like, you messed up. How in the world? Yeah, I'm a millionaire. I made $1 million with It Works. Why am I not debt free? I didn't have $1 million in debt. Like, there's no reason why my husband and I aren't debt free. But again, I didn't know what I didn't know. And yeah, I didn't really believe in being debt free. Can I be just be honest? I was the one who was going to die with student loans because I didn't care. Like, why do I need to pay you back all this money? And what's up with this interest? Like, I just didn't care. I don't know that I really believed, and that's the thing. I don't know that I really believed that I could be debt free. And for those who don't know, Zayden is my son Zayden. Oh my gosh, that was a journey too. This business being able to allow me to do things that I would have never done in life. But my son Zayden, his godmom is Cammie, like in real life. Like, this is not, Cammie's not everybody, and it works godmom. Okay, just so you guys know, like, this is a legit thing. And as I started to have this family connection with Cammie, not just business, but the family connection with her, and I got to see their hearts on a higher caliber. You can already see their hearts because they wear them on their sleeve, and that's really who they are. But when I got to see them on the other side, and I saw the discipline, and I saw oh my God, their hearts, you think you know their hearts go 10 times deeper than what you think you know. And when you go into their households and the things that you hear them say online, they live that life. Like, they live that life. Like, their kids are very polite. They love on you. The way they talk to you, if they're aggravated, it's not the same as like what I would do. Jesus worked on me though, because I'm not the same Rachel that I used to be 5.5 years ago, praise God. But in my house, if you came and stayed in my house, you might have seen some tension. Not anymore, but you might have seen some stuff and been like, oh, okay. You know, but they're legit people. And when I started to really get near them and saw the discipline, and I was like, oh, okay, wait, no. Like, I for real can be different. And I remember at a conference last year, Mark said to the top income earners, and praise God for still being a top income earner and still being able to be in the circle, even though I don't know that I deserved it. I did not deserve it. I was not busting my butt like I was busting it before. So shout out to God for his grace and an amazing team. So I'm in the room, and Mark says, y'all know, I just had my son, and Mark's like, y'all got bills? And I'm like, what you mean? Like, what you mean we have bills? Like, of course we have bills. You're supposed to have bills the rest of your life. Like, what you mean? So I was like, no, like, you guys have bills. And I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, bro, like, I have bills. So I was like, oh, I was supposed to pay my debt off. Like, when I received the get out of debt bonus, I was supposed to pay my debt off. Like, not go on vacation, not go buy some new clothes, like, not get a new car, like, for real. And then on the other side, it was like, hold on, what was the other thing that I wanted to say? Oh man. I mean, we paid down a lot of debt, but regardless, it was all on me. It was me. It was all on me. The choices that I made were on me. Now, one thing that I decided as I started to look internal and figure out why, this is what I was going to say. So you know how Mark would always say, you sleep better in a house that's paid off, right? And I thought, it sounded so good. You know how you listen to some quotes and you're just like, oh, that sounds so good. Like, that just sounds so good. But you can't, it's not hitting you in the core, it just sounds good. I'm like, bruh, I don't even own a house. I pay rent. Like, I'm not even on your level. Like, I can't even think about sleeping in a house that's paid for because I don't own a house. Like, thank God I do now. So I understand what he means now. But before, it was like, bro, I pay rent. Like, I was not on the caliber that he was on because I had not experienced the things that he had experienced, nor had anyone in my circle. I mean, anyone. So when your upliners are telling you, like, hey, you need to get a new circle, hey, you need to get a new circle, because if not, you will be your biggest enemy. And so that's what happened. In my opinion, you become your biggest enemy. And I decided I wasn't going to be my biggest enemy. I was going to humble myself. I was going to really see where I jacked up. I didn't need to go to Disney every year. Like, do you need to go to Disney? Like, I'm not stunting for the gram. I'm not going to stunt for the gram. That's what I decided. I decided I was no longer stunting for the gram. If I did get something nice, like, yes, I want to show you how this is changing my life. But I was okay with being vulnerable. If everybody on here, if you have not read Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, you need to read it. It was actually one of the first books that I read, and I honestly think it was pivotal to my existence here now. because I had to understand that I don't owe anybody anything and nobody owes me anything. So while I was sitting here like, oh, my team, no, baby, your team doesn't owe you anything. You're actually supposed to be serving your team. And we know that as we serve our teams, you grow. And that was the thing. Like, if you don't grasp that, you're gonna walk out the door, because that's what we do here. Like, this business to me it has a heart after God. And if you study your Bible, you know the Bible says that the one that's the greatest is actually the lowest. And what I love about this business, and when people come in, is, I mean, anybody on my team can make as much money as I make, and it's just a matter of how many people can they help. And if you personally help people, it really changes the game. But how can you help other people when you're looking at them to give you something instead of you giving them something? Do you have a gift to give? Do you even see your business or your products, anything? Is it a gift to give? And so I had to switch all that. Like, I had to switch it all up. I think the way this business is broken down, for me, the steps to success is like, it's an order of hierarchy. Number one, if you don't have people on your team who are running an auto ship, they don't know anything about the products. They're not sacrificing anything for this. So of course they can't sign any loyal customers. Like, what do you mean? Like, they don't know how the greens taste. They tasted it one time and when their kid first came. Like, they don't know anything about anything, nor are they sacrificing. So for me in the beginning, when I would run my auto ship, single mom paying for everything. I didn't have any money. I did not. I didn't have it. Especially, like, I had a boo on the side. So, Brene and I need to have some for date night just in case, throw a little change on the, anyways. So I have money just floating around, but that $100 each month, since I started this company, y'all, there has not been 5.5 years. I have never not ran an auto ship. Between my husband and my account, an auto ship has always been ran in 5.5 years. Why? Because that is my faith. Every time I put my auto ship on, like my auto ship goes through, especially back in the day, every time my auto ship went through, that meant I had to work my business. That meant I had to change somebody else's life. That meant them 4 wraps that was coming, they had to go off. So why Rachel Rap Queen? Because she had to be. And honestly, me selling my wraps and wrapping people and seeing them smile and seeing them get results and me following up with them and making sure they got results is what built my business, because it allowed me to serve other people. You have to have a heart of servitude to be here. You won't be here long. You might go on a run, right? So you go on a run, you might go on a run, but then after the run and you stop serving because you got a few coins and now you don't want to serve your team no more because they get on your nerves. Well, for real, it's probably you. Then you're wondering, what they got going on over there? Oh, it looks easier to just go do that. Like, of course it is, because it's easier. It's easy not to serve. Has anybody on here ever been a server before? It's not easy to sit there and serve and be on your feet all day and take orders and write stuff down. That's not easy. Now, in this business, when you serve, you get paid a lot of money. Why is Joe and Stephanie number one? Because they serve their team like nobody's business. They serve their customers. If you know how to serve, you're in the right place. If you don't know how to serve, but you want to be here, you learn how to serve. And it's okay to say, I don't know. Who said you got to know everything? That's not what we're here for. It's okay. If you listen, I just got done reading Proverbs, and let me tell you, I don't know nothing. That's how I feel. I want to know what everybody else knows. I don't know. Teach me something. And if I have something to give, I'm going to give it. But I'm always a student. So, okay. I want to know if anybody has any questions before I go in. That was a long intro. Sorry, y'all. But, okay. It's Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Yeah, I can take a screenshot. By Brene Brown. Yeah. So that book changed everything for me. It taught me how to be vulnerable, because I grew up in a single family home, and well, actually my stepdad left listen, long story. whoo, my stepdad left us, but well, he needed to leave. So we were blessed with that dismissal. God bless his soul. And my mom was a single mom. And so I had to take care of my siblings. Like, that was just what I did. I had the grit. I had that. So really, that's what y'all looking for. Y'all looking for somebody who has some grit, because if they have the grit, they won't quit. Too legit. I'm telling you. You need people who've been through something in life, because if they've been through something in life, they're going to keep showing up, because they know at the end of the day, if I keep showing up, eventually I'm going to win, because you can't beat somebody who doesn't quit. But every single time you quit, you forfeit yourself. And I know those are cliche sayings, but it's real life. Every time you quit and you decide, oh, your friend this, your friend that, you forfeit. And then you got to start all over again. And you like, oh, my team. No, it's not your team, it's you. And if you were consistent enough, regardless of what your team is doing, you'll start to attract people who are like, oh, she did. I got people who 5 years and they like watching me and me following up with them, and they finally sign up. You know what I mean? So anyways, okay, let's go to these questions. Did anybody have any questions? All right, where are my people who are asking me questions in my inbox? If you want to send a message to me, and you want to do, or you can just send it to me private and I'll answer it. But to be honest with y'all, like, there is when it comes to this business, I feel like, well, first of all, if you haven't read Go Pro by Eric Worre, I suggest you read it. There's certain things when it comes to a company. I'm not here. Hey Missy, go ahead and drop your question in the comments. I'm not here. I had to decide that I appreciated everything this company had to offer me. You know how, like, you have a family. Like, if you're saying, like, this is your family, these people care about you. A lot of times when you come into this organization, you get treated better than you've ever been treated in your life. Like, let's just be real. When it comes to corporate, when it comes to teams, I mean, that doesn't mean that there's not any mean, bitter people out there. We understand. But you get to experience love like you never felt before. So there comes a sense of loyalty. And if you know the genuineness of the heart is there, don't you grow with family? So that means, oh, you didn't like the promotion. So what? That doesn't mean that you just walk away. You help your family get better. And so my question is, like, this is my family. Like, I've decided that this is my family. And when I decided that, when I see the hearts of the company, I remember I had just found out I was pregnant with Zayden, and we went down to Dallas. And I was in just praying over my praying he stayed in there, like, for real, and going through different treatments and stuff like that. And seeing Mark up on that stage, and I knew something was off, but I didn't know. And then come to find out, y'all, March 2017, like, around then was when Mark found out he had cancer, but he still showed up. Do you know that other CEOs would have been like, oh, he can go in my place. Like, I'm not going to that. Their hearts are so pure, and they care so much about us, and they care so much about teaching us what you do in the midst of a storm. You don't bow out just because a storm comes, especially when your family is dependent on you. And that's the same thing when it comes to your team. So what you don't feel good? Get up. Like, get up. Like, you laying down is not 9 times out of 10 will make you feel better. I remember on Monday, I had a meeting with my team, and I felt like death, like legit death. And I still got up. Why? Because what is laying in the bed gonna do? Like, especially if I'm not gonna be asleep, I'm just gonna be on my phone anyway. Get up. So when you see people having a heart to do that, sharing their family with you, their family is in the company, clearly this is how their family eats. So they're just not gonna not let your family eat. You know, it's just certain stuff that just makes sense. Now the question is, do you want to work or not? And that's the question to ask. It's not that it's not working, it's you not working. So what does that mean? Let's say, what does that mean? You not working? Because I would ask that. So what does that mean? So you not working to me means that at a certain point, I've been there. So at a certain point, it's just like, all right, I'm doing everything I know to do. I'm sending messages. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You have to work on you, period. If you don't get better, nobody's going to want to join you. They don't believe you. They don't. So when business is not doing well, you have to start working on you 100%. How many times have y'all been to an event and they told y'all this was a personal development business with a compensation plan attached? It is. So when does it go ding, 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 ding? Oh, okay. Maybe I should read a personal development book a month. Maybe I should listen to podcasts instead of the radio. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. What do millionaires do? They don't listen to the radio. Guess what? They don't. They don't listen to TV. They don't watch TV. Not at all. So if you don't surround yourself with people who are like this, even when you start making some money and then you're like, oh, wait, but how do I sustain this? If your habits don't change, Cammy's been talking about habits for the longest. If you don't, or Payne, one of them was talking about habits. If you don't change your habits, guess what? You're going to go right back to the struggle bus. And you will wonder, why in the world am I back on this bus? It's because you didn't change your circle. You didn't change your habits. You're not personally developing. How many books have you read? You know, like I actually, oh Jesus, she asked my team that, and I was like, help Jesus. I'm like, oh, I've read like 10 books this year, and my team like 1, and I'm like, oh, well, that's why we're not a Black Diamond team just yet, you know. So you have to work on yourself. If you don't work on yourself, no one will ever want to join you. Eventually, I mean, in the beginning, they just like, okay, yeah, I support you, and then eventually they'll be like, dude, you still fat, like. You don't even use the products. Like, what are you talking about? It works. Like, it doesn't work. You know, like if you're not switching up your discipline, then you can't expect people to want to come on the journey with you, especially after a while. I'm just going to be real with y'all. So let me go. I didn't see a question. All right. What's been your attack when it comes to your obsession and attack with God this year? And how do you implement that day to day? Oh, wait, there was one before that. Okay, I answered that one first. So what happened for me is I listened to a podcast. Okay, if anybody, top 10, I'm going to say that now, but top 10 has a podcast now. Like our top 10 now. Praying, hey, top 10, plant your flags or get out. Like, just go away. Over it. But if they have a podcast, you should be listening to it. So Cammy, hands down, she has a podcast, and she did a podcast with her mom, Cindy, and they talked about their alone time with Jesus, and I was just like, oh, this is cute. So Cammy, tell you guys a story. Cammy came to down here for Zayden's christening, and she called me. She had got in like around 12 from driving, and so I'm assuming she was 12, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock. And so I talked to her maybe like around 8 o'clock in the morning before church, and she was asking me some questions and things like that, and we was trying to figure out how she was gonna get there and whatever. So I'm like, yeah, and she's like, yeah, I already had my Jesus time today. I listened to Stephen Furtick, and you know, I'm dressed now and I'm out and about trying to find something to trade. And I'm like, bruh, it's 8 o'clock. Like, I just got up. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you just get to go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning? Like, how are you up right now and functioning? And it just kind of piqued my interest. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I listened to the podcast with her and her mom. And her mom was like, yeah, I do 2 hours in the morning with Jesus before I start my day. And I'm like, how am I? Okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend time with Jesus, because I don't spend intentional time with Jesus. I just, you know, I'm having a bad day. Let me get some Jesus time. Oh, Jesus, he's right now. I have a moment, so let me just talk to God real quick. Like, that was it. Like, I prayed. I went to church. I love Jesus, but I thought I loved Jesus. So I started out setting aside time to spend with Christ, like I did. So I get up an hour and a half before my family, and I spent time with him, and I decided I was going to get to know who in the heck he was, because I thought I knew, but I had no idea. I had no idea who he even was. Here I am asking God to bless my business. God, bless this and do this, and God, just make a way. But I don't even spend any time with him. So this is how I explain it to people, and I love explaining this to people. I just had a conversation with Rachel about this the other day. Okay, y'all. So obsessed was my word. When people who knew me back in college, this year, obsessed was my word, who knew me back in college, I was obsessed with my husband. From the day we decided we was going to talk, I was obsessed. Yeah, like obsessed with this Kappa. Like, everywhere he was, I wanted to be there. If he was going somewhere, I was showing up. I was asking questions about him. I wanted to be in his presence when I came around. I wanted to make sure I looked good, smelled good, all that. I wanted to know what candy he liked. I found out he loved Applebee's. So I was like, anytime we were in a collective group, because we used to hang out together and be like, okay, where are we going to eat? Applebee's. Oh, I think I want Applebee's. Why? Because he wanted Applebee's. I'm just like, Applebee's? Like, no, this is why I don't even like Applebee's like that, but I'm thirsty. So I'm thirsty. We used to stay on the phone, y'all, till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I had to be up at 6:30, like stupid. Like I had to be up at 6:30. But I didn't care. Like, give me 2.5 hours if I could spend all night with you. You know what I'm saying? I was thirsty. Yeah. Before we got married, got this bunny. I'm asking you, but don't look at it. I got this bunny on my ankle. He got the same one. Before I got married to him, I was stupid. I was so obsessed with this boy. Right? So, I was like, oh, okay, so we'll go. So I was like, how do I love Jesus more than I love Brene? Whoa. I was like, nah, I can't say that. I don't stay up all night for him. I don't even spend alone time with him. If I'm awake and my house is just moving around and I'm spending time on my phone with the notifications on, not even having a Bible, but just on my phone. I got the Bible app. No. I was like, I'm trifling. I realized real quick I was trifling. And so I started to pursue God more than I pursued my husband. And I would think about things like, how in the world, so y'all know, I don't know, married or not, when you're in the bed with your husband and, when you're in the bed with your husband and your kids are in the bed, it's not the same type of in the bed, right? You gotta you're not gonna say certain things or do certain things when you're in the bed with your husband and your kids, right? So what makes you think in the bed with your husband in the morning that there aren't certain things that God wants to share with you that he can't share with you while you're in the bed with your husband? It just opened up everything for me. It opened up everything for me. I was like, I've been disrespectful. And I asked you for more than anything in this world. I asked you for more than I asked my husband for. I asked you more for anything else. And I don't spend any time with you. I don't even know who you are. I remember being at a meeting and I was like, man, if somebody took my Bible away right now and said, the only scriptures you have are the ones in your heart, I'd be like, bro, I'd be in trouble. Because every time I want to know something about you, I'd be like, scripture, this subject matter. I don't know. I didn't even have scriptures. I just knew the basic scriptures. The ones that I had learned when I was a kid. I was like, this is trifling. I could open up my Bible and I didn't even know where Philippians was, or because I'm so used to just scrolling on my app and pressing it. I was trifling. And so I decided I wanted to get to know him, who he was, and spend some time with him. But when I started spending some time with him, y'all, I fell in love. I didn't even know what love was. But I fell in love something serious. I started to realize all that Jesus endured on this earth and didn't sin. Bro, I want to sin every second of every second. And he didn't do it. I be ready to punch stuff, throw stuff, cuss, drink, whatever. And he didn't do none of that. And then he went to the cross for me. He went to the cross so I wouldn't have to die for all the stupid stuff that I do. Man. And I won't get up and spend an hour with him before my house get up because I'm tired. Nah. That's what I did. So I decided I showed myself grace though, y'all. To this day, I still show myself grace. It's not the law. I don't get up because I have to. I get up because I want to. I want to spend time with him. I want to get to know him. I didn't know where to start. I remember having a conversation with Cindy in Cammy's pool this summer, and I was just like, I'm really on this, really trying to get to know Jesus for real. Like, what do you suggest? And so that day-by-day devotional, that Discovering God Day by Day that I post all the time on my stories, and everybody asks about that, it's so bomb. It's changed my perspective on life, and it's made it to where I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to certain stuff, I used to cuss like nobody's business. But when I realized and started digging into the scripture, I'm one of those people that, I have to know. If I don't understand, I'm not doing it. Like, you can't just tell me. I have to understand for myself. And so when I started to dig into the scripture and I realized what it meant to him when I started cussing, and how, like, I was like, ooh. So, like, every time I said a cuss word, I felt like I was, like, stabbing him. And I'm like, ooh, I like you more than that. It's almost like intentionally hurting my husband, but saying I love you. It's like slapping my husband, but saying, oh, baby, I love you. It don't work out like that. So that's what I did. And I showed myself grace. I set my alarm. I set my alarm at 5 o'clock to get up at 6. Because I know how I am. I know I hit the snooze. So I said it beforehand, and thank God for my husband. It doesn't snap on me for my alarm going off. And every once in a while, my Zayden be up dancing to my alarm, and I be ready to throw him out my bed. But it is what it is. I remember when I first was starting, y'all, I'm a full-time breastfeeding mom. And every time my alarm would go off, Zayden would want to nurse. And so I would roll over and nurse him. And guess what? I went back to sleep. And then eventually I was like, devil, you a lie. You're not going to use my kid to take away my time from God. And so I was like, you want to cry? You going to cry with your daddy, but I'm getting out this bed if you're not hungry. So I just started to really take it seriously. And you know how you make sacrifices for your family? I decided that I was going to make sacrifices to spend time with him. And then it became one of my favorite things to do. It became one of my favorite things to do. All right. What's the other question? Oh, shoot. I'm losing it. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay. Oh, that wasn't a question. Sorry. What do you do when you feel like you're not connecting with your leader and you feel stuck and not growing? If I can be honest with you guys, well, I disconnected from my leader, but I just could tell she's not in this company anymore. Actually, anyways. So she's not a part of the company anymore. So that's that heart of discernment and that discernment muscle. And just because you're not connecting with them, honestly, do you pray for your leaders? I think that's probably the number one. Do you pray for them and do you show them grace and know that they're not perfect? Because I know if my team hadn't been praying with me and just praying that God would help me grow, I can't say that they would still be here with me, because I was mean. Like, I was very direct. I had no softness in my body, even though I cared so much for them. But just see, is that somebody that you're supposed to be connected to? Are you supposed to pray for them? You know, if you haven't watched Marked by Pastor Todd, that was when I met Pastor Todd. That's when we became like besties. But Marked by Pastor Todd, he says that you're supposed to go after the thing that is bothering your leader. So could it be that you're the solution to your leader's issues that could make them want to be better? You know what makes me want to be better? I know eventually, like, at first it was like, oh my God, like, so all these people on my team, like, they need Jesus just like I do, but don't none of us know Jesus like that for real. So who gonna go get to know Jesus? So can you be the one to inspire your leader? Just because they're above you does not mean that they don't carry more baggage than you carry. They might. They just started the business before you did. So I would highly suggest, number one, how can you serve them? So how can you support them? And number two, be louder. Be louder in terms of what you have to give to the entire team. Because the more you serve, the better you become, the more you attract people to you. They honestly, like, they would love for you to be a beast. They would love for you to grow and be better, but that doesn't mean that it takes away from your connection from them. And I think I might have to, if that doesn't answer your question, it might be more specific based on you. And if you feel stuck and not growing, it's because you're not personally developing. You have to tackle what's tackling you. Number one, go to the table. Go to the table every single morning, and I promise y'all it will change everything. When you start to read and learn who Jesus really is, and learn more about, y'all, when I was reading Proverbs, I felt like an idiot. Like, some of that stuff that's in the Bible. Did y'all know common sense only comes from God? Did y'all know that? So why y'all be frustrated with people like, why y'all don't common sense? Like, it's because they're not connected to God, because that only comes from Him. So if you're lacking common sense, they're not going to get it anyway. So then, can you have a compassionate enough heart to have the discernment to know, are you supposed to explain it to them, or are you just supposed to be kind and keep it moving? Be kind and keep it moving. Or are you supposed to use the example? Jesus used parables all the time. Why? Because we're stupid. So it puts it in our terms so that we can understand it. Okay, that's not a nice word. We're not stupid. Okay, this is a good question. The question says, did you feel persuaded or tempted when other leaders left? Absolutely not. Not 1 second. Not one time. But let me tell you why. I have an anchor. Okay? And that's why I suggest that every single last one of y'all on here, get y'all own anchor. I am rooted and grounded by Christ. And if I was not rooted and grounded, let's just be real. Like if you have a boat, right? Every one of y'all are a boat. We're all boats. And if you don't have an anchor, you will go where the wind blows. You want to know why your business goes up and downs, and why you work sometimes and don't work sometimes, and this and that and that. The reason why is you have no anchor. And so when I saw people leaving and the people who were leaving, and I was like, things started to pop out to me. It was like, where's your anchor? Like, who are we consulting about leaving? I remember when the first wave left, I got a call from a friend. And she was like, she had sent me a text message. She was like, so we leaving or not? And I thought she was joking. And I was like, girl, leaving what? What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, well, her check is blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I had went outside. I remember this day, y'all. I remember this day. I had walked outside. It was still warm out. And I was like, I mean, my check ain't bad. Yeah, I'd like to make more money. But it ain't even about the money. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think I would ever say that. It was not about the money anymore for me. Do y'all know the life that I've got to experience because of It Works? Do y'all know how I started to change my life because of this? Do y'all know how sexy I am because of these products? Okay, like listen, my energy because of these products. And I was like, no. Like it's not even like if Christ would have told me to, I'm not going to be persuaded just because you left. And that's the problem. Are you looking at somebody else as your guide? Or are you looking at Christ? Because that's what happens. You think the grass is greener because you're looking at something and you're not going to the table every morning. When you go to the table every single morning, you'll know. He will tell you. There's a book that I read. This was one of the first books that I read because I felt like I wasn't hearing them. I felt like I didn't know. I didn't know. Like you don't know what you don't know. So funny. I keep saying that, which is real. And so I decided that I was going to read this book. It's called Discerning the Voice of God. And it helped me really start to hear his voice. Did y'all know, like, God is not pressed? Oh, you want to take a picture? Nope. Did y'all want to take a picture of it? Okay. God's not pressed for your time. Do y'all know that y'all can really like wait for him to respond to you? In all aspects of life. You don't have to give an answer right away. Now it's a difference between people be like, I'm waiting on Jesus, you lying. Like you ain't even talking to Jesus. Like let's just be clear. Like that's not an excuse. We're not saying using God as an excuse. But when it comes to really pursuing him and pursuing an answer, he will drop things into your spirit. He will send people your way. But that's what this book told me all about. And I was like, oh my God. I remember asking my pastor a question and I was like, so when I hear God telling me to do, when I hear something telling me something, right? Because you don't know. You hear something telling me like to do something nice to people, or it's like, let's say you feel like you should blitz somebody, or it's like, oh, pay for that person's groceries, but look at my groceries. You know what I'm saying? Like so many things, right? And she was like, God will never tell you, she said, Satan will never tell you to do something nice. And I was like, oh, so that is Jesus. I was like, okay. So then I was like, okay, then it was number 2 was, I don't listen to Jesus. Because how often do you have that little inner inkling that tells you something and you don't listen? And it's something nice. You'll start to, if you spend time with them, if my husband called my name right now and there were a whole bunch of men upstairs, I would know my husband's voice. I would know it was my husband who called me. Why? Because I know my husband's voice. Because I spend time with him every single day. You know, the Bible says my sheep know my voice. And so the question is, are you really his sheep? Or are you out here a sheep in all different flocks? And so when he does call your name, you don't know who's talking to you. And that's what happens. I don't know whose voice they heard, but I didn't hear that voice. And I could care less that somebody out there is making more money. I don't care. My grass is green here, and this is where I was placed to serve. I make good money here. I make way more than I made working a job. I love this company. So why in the world would I go over here to something I don't love just so I can make money? That's stupid. That's selling your soul. And we know what that does. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. Like, you know that when you go up, that's not my issue. That's not my story. The reason why I stayed is because I didn't hear God to say move, and I was anchored. I don't have any problems when it comes to this company. There's so much money on the table. We are growing. With any company, you're going to grow. You get better and better. I'm pretty sure 10, 15 years ago when Joel started, or when Cammy and first started, it's 20 times better now than it was back then. So you don't leave something just because we're growing. That doesn't even make sense. So that's why, no, I did not feel that any type of way. Good rebuttals for I don't have money, or I tried it works and it didn't work for me, but that person's not on anymore. Neither is that person. Okay, let's see what other questions you guys have. I'm sorry, guys. How did you get through a long dry season without getting new customers and distributors? So I never did not enroll. I never did not enroll, just not. And I've had months where I've been like superb 40 customers, and I've had months where I did like 20 distributors, but it's not something that I do consistently. So I honestly focus on my steps, but I focus on completing my steps in the first week of the month. My actions are more intentional when I work on finishing my steps by the first week of the month. But when it doesn't happen, you have to know what it is. What are you doing? One thing that I was struggling with is I was talking to the same audience, expecting different results. So let's just say you got 5,000 friends on Facebook, but you haven't deleted and added. You're talking to the same people. You're inboxing the same people, and you want a different response. So it's probably time to rebuild your market. If you haven't, because I'm not a guru on Instagram, Facebook's my thing. But if you're not getting in front of new people, and if you're not just asking, I had to, like, I don't know if y'all heard me say this, I had to take my feelings out of the follow-up. I had to look at this as a business. And when I look at it as a business, I do not, like, when you go up to Walmart and you go to the checkout line, and they got them little dollar things, guess what? They could care less if you say no or not. They're going to ask you, this is their job. And that's what you have to do. You have to extend the invitation regardless of whether people say yes or not. And then you also have to see yourself as an establishment, a real business, because when you have a real business and somebody walks into your door, because I explained it to my team like this. Let's just say I owned this is a real business here. Like an actual physical business. And I'm having customers come in. I asked our server that day, I said, hey, Jake, I said, Jake, if you guys have customers come in and nobody buys for the entire day, how long y'all gonna stay in business? Clearly it's rhetorical. He was like, nah, we won't be here very long. And I was like, duh. So I could care less how many people come in through the door today. Somebody gonna buy today, because if not, my business is not profitable. So every single day, you cannot get caught up on the no. Because when you get caught up on the no, you don't get to the yes. And guess what? No yes means you got to close the door. So you have to keep going, and you have to take your feelings out of the follow-up. And if you can do that, I mean, if you need to go away from people that you know and start going to people you don't know, then do that. Do that. But I didn't have a long dry season of no customers. I did have a season to where my team wasn't promoting like it used to promote. But then when I did that, I focused on truly working on myself and who could I help? Even if I just help somebody go executive, even if I just help somebody go Ruby, as long as I'm helping somebody new while everybody else is working on themselves, it continues to grow my volume. It keeps me afloat. It keeps me alive. It allows me to retain my volume. So while everybody's searching within, trying to figure out their life, that is where I put myself in a position to still stay alive. Oh, here's another one. Did you feel persuaded or tempted or wonder what was going on when all top leaders were leaving? No, I knew. I happen to be friends with one of them. That everybody else is not friend worthy, but I happen to be real friends with one of them. And then I also know the heart of some of them. And to be honest, like when I really evaluated, a lot of them didn't want to serve. They didn't. They did not want to serve their teams. Their teams got on their nerves, which granted, everybody's team get on their nerves. But I come from a serving background. You know, my master's is in professional counseling. I worked as a mental health case manager. I love to help people. That's why I love this business, because I was able to do what I loved and get paid very well for it. So if you don't want to serve and help other people, then no, this is not the place for you, because you're going to have to serve. You're going to have to help other people. So, but to be honest with y'all, when you think about billionaires and millionaires, like for real, the ones who are sustaining, it's because they've decided that they're going to serve. They're serving in some type of way, shape, or form. They are serving. So no, I was not. It didn't move me, but I was already on my Jesus journey, y'all. I was already spending time with Christ. Thank you, Jesus, because I can't say that if I wasn't, that I wouldn't have felt some type of way or even thought about it. I'm not even gonna lie. If I did not have an anchor, it irritated me though, because it was almost like, Cindy said, I went to a prayer breakfast with her in Bradenton, and Cindy said it felt like a burial. And that's sad. Like it's almost like, oh man, like dang, like I wanted more for you, and we have so much more coming. And what happens when you don't like what's going on over there? It's okay that you can't buy Louis every year now. It's okay that right now we're in a season that you might not be able to buy Valentino's every time you get paid. It's all right. But to be honest, I want to lead my team to real freedom. I don't know that was on my heart before. My why changed. And if you have an upline that's been in this business for multiple years and they're not talking about more than just a house, if they're not talking about more than just cars, then you might need to look in a different direction, because that's superficial, materialistic. Not that those things are they're nice to have, don't get me wrong, but that can't be your only drive. And so for me now, when my drive is totally different, the things that I desire is totally different. I can fathom paying off my parents' debt. Before I couldn't even fathom it, because I never even really imagined paying off my own. I'm like, paying off my mama debt, like, well, my debt ain't gonna never be paid off. Because I didn't really believe. I didn't believe that it was really possible. And then I also wasn't okay with saying, okay, let me be honest. I wasn't okay with saying, I'm okay with not having. If I can just be real with y'all, I'm okay with saying no. I told my team this was my year of no. And I told my husband next year is going to be the year of, we're going to say, heck no. I'm going to start saying no to everything. No. Rachel, you want to go out to eat? No. Rachel, do you want to go? No. No. The devil will send so many distractions your way. And what happens is sending distractions. It's like, oh no, I'm putting Disney on my dream board, so let's go ahead and play in Disney. No, that's stupid. Why are you going to Disney when you have $5,000 in debt right here that needs to be paid for? Baby, pay that debt. You and your kids can go to Disney when they turn 20, okay? You'll be debt free, and you'll be able to pay for it in cash and still be able to do, like, that stuff is not necessary. Like, you have to understand when you're living beyond your means, because in real life, y'all, billionaires, they live on like 20% of their income. 10. They do not live on all their money. They don't do it. And so what happened is we're not even really studying true millionaires. We're not studying the practices. Like, do y'all know when Cammie bought a house? Cammie was living in an apartment. Like, she wasn't even living in a, like, you know, those type of things. If you're sitting here looking, and so sorry, you know, I apologize even for being a top income earner that got all these different things. And it was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this. And then you start making some money and then you thinking that you need to get these things instead of paying off debt. So I apologize because I know I was one of those leaders, but I had never had those kind of things before. But if I can tell you this, I would rather have went back and paid off every penny of debt that I have than have everything that I have now. My freedom, hands down, is the #1 thing that I appreciate. And so you need to come back down to reality. And I had to come back down to reality and be grateful. So my gratitude journal every single day, I wake up every single day and I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. And at night, I text one friend and I tell her 3 things that I'm grateful for every single night. I have an alarm that goes off in my house. Why? Because God cannot bless you with more when you're not even grateful for what you have. How many times have you taken for granted the fact that you could pay your mortgage? I was just used to it. I was just like, yeah, of course, you don't pay a mortgage. No, God, thank you. Like, thank you, I can pay my mortgage. Like, my mortgage ain't low. God, thank you, I can pay for my car. You know, I was listening to a book and the guy was like, how many times he said, what if I took you to a car lot? And I said, get anything you want, but this is the only car you get for the rest of your life. Would you take care of your car different? Of course you would. We don't take care of the things that God has given us. And so I decided that I just had it all jacked up. When you watch people more than you watch God, you will always have it jacked up, especially when you're following people who don't follow Christ. I'm just being real. How did I choose my distributors? Before I just signed everybody. I didn't care. I just signed everybody. Right now, I'm in a season of my business where I want people who want more because I know where I'm going. So the #1 thing you have to do is decide where you're going. And for me, I had to decide where I wanted to go. And at this point, I'm tired of the struggle bus. That doesn't mean that I'm not loving on people who are still on the struggle bus. I still want to help people on the struggle bus, but your mind has to be beyond the struggle bus, even though your current situation is still on the struggle bus. You can be on the struggle bus, but your mind is off. And as long as your mind is off, eventually your body will catch up. So I had to pay attention. Like, are they cussing on their page? Are they posting ratchet videos? Are they complaining all day? Then 9 times out of 10, I'm going to let you be inspired by me, but I'm not going to reach out to you to join me. So I had to completely switch that altogether. Now that doesn't mean I'll let them come, but I'm not going to put them in my diamond position. You know what I mean? I'm not going to depend on them because they have so much internal work to do. So I'm still going to love on them so much so and allow them to sit with me, but that's my fault. If I put them in the diamond position and now I'm mad because they're not doing the things that I thought that they were supposed to do, go back and look at their page. They weren't doing it beforehand. They're not just going to magically change just because they came in it worse. But they will change. If you keep them around, they will change. All right, not even being funny, but how do you know it's not just your mind playing with you? Like, what if this is your last dollar and you hear the voice? Yo, that is the most coolest time to listen. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. That means that God is setting you up for something. And he wants to see the intentions of your heart. If you're not watching 24 Ever right now by Pastor Todd, binge watch it this weekend. Binge watch it this weekend. Man, it just talked about what's on the throne of your heart. And I had a heart check with this. It was a gut check. Because I'm like, what? Jesus on my heart. I spend time with him every day. And then he was like, you know, what happens when you start to pay attention more to the blessing than the blessor? And it was like for a second, like, I'm so obsessed with my son right now. Like, I'm in love. Like, of course, it's my miracle baby. I get to spend every day with him. And I was like, but I'm so, like, protective of him. Do I trust God when it comes to my son? Like, or am I worrying about if things are going to be wrong with him? Like it was, I had a moment, like, had I really fully submitted my son to Christ? So just know your obedience is always, bruh, always better than sacrifice. And he cannot blow your mind or be God if you don't let him. How can he, if it's your last dollar, clearly you don't have no money for tomorrow, right? How does he send along somebody who buys a whole bag of rice? You'd be like, man, God told me to pay for this lace and I didn't have no money. And then as soon as I left the store, I got a call and somebody told me they wanted a bag of rice. He wants to bless you. Like, he never wants to harm you. He never wants to harm you. He never wants to harm you. But then also, the more the time you spend with him, the more you'll be able to. And then I'm just in this season of my life that when God places somebody on my heart, I'll ask them, like, hey, is this relevant? Because I need to know I'm not tripping. Like, you don't have to tell me your business or anything. I just need to know if it's relevant. I have a friend who's dealing with infertility and her IVF just failed. And I did not know this. I did not know it. But on last Friday is when she found out it failed. On Saturday, I sent her a text message because God placed her in my heart. And I just said, hey, I love you. You're just on my mind right now. Looked on Facebook, because she didn't even tell me, which is fine. Looked on Facebook, saw that the IVF had failed. And God said, you need to call and pray with her. And I'm like, okay. And so some things were happening, and I was listening to his voice, and it was like, so instead of calling, I was actually supposed to voice memo her. So I voice memoed her this prayer, which makes sense because now she can listen to it more than once. I voice memoed her this prayer. And y'all, like, this girl wrote me back and was like in full blown out tears and needed that in that moment. And if I wouldn't have been obedient, who knows what would have happened? How do I know that wasn't a moment where, I know different things that she has been battling internally and has come out externally regarding herself. How do I know that wouldn't have been a moment because I wasn't obedient? But you don't know if you don't hear his voice, if you don't spend any time with him. My pastor just got done battling cancer, y'all, this year. And every day I got up, you don't realize how you are paving the way for people in your family, people in your surroundings that don't even, like, it's okay. You're the cream of the crop. You have to understand that. You're the cream of the crop. And I had to understand that my family, some of the things that they're going to be broken from is going to be because of my prayers and me getting up every single morning and praying without ceasing and talking to God. Because that was another thing. I had sent Cindy a message and I was like, listen, I'm starting to feel ritualistic right now. Like, I need help with my prayers because I'm starting to get bored. So, and I'm just being real. Like, I'm starting to get bored. And she shared with me how it was that I could shift up my prayers so it doesn't sound like I'm just being, just doing ritual stuff. So that, and then how can you lead somebody to a God you don't know? You can't tell people God good and you don't even know him. You don't even know him. So I hope that, girl, he gonna hook you up. I promise you, he gonna hook you up. Like, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Okay. We've been on here for hours. Are you able to explain strong building when your team goes silent on you? I'm doing more self-development and learning about being a good leader pertaining to scripture. So this is a good question. Are you able to explain strong building when your team goes silent on you? How do I want to answer this? Yes. So you have to, okay, here's one thing that I had to realize. My team doesn't owe me anything. My team owes me nothing. And once I realized that my team owed me nothing, I had to figure out where my source was. So when I get what I need from God, my phone goes on do not disturb at 10. The only way that I'm texting is if it's intentional, because I literally do not get the messages. It does not go off do not disturb until 8 o'clock in the morning. I had to set boundaries. I take a Sabbath. I've been doing the Sabbath since May. If you have not seen Pastor Todd take a day off, I would 100% do it. It'll help you understand, because I did not understand the Sabbath. I'm just gonna be real. I thought it was for 7-day Adventists and it was super duper ritualistic. I did not spiritual religion. That's what I thought it was. So as I started to set these boundaries and I started to allow Christ to really fill me up, I was able to reach out to my team regardless of what they're doing for me. And as I began to love on them and show care and concern and meet them where they are, they began to be able to flourish in areas that they didn't know that they could flourish. They began to be able to realize places that they were hurting, that they didn't know that they were hurting. And then they were also okay with being okay. Like they were being not okay. Like, have you given them permission to not be okay and start where they are so they can grow? That was probably one of the biggest things. Like, they're human just like you. And if they don't have the well that never runs dry, then why do you think that they're going to be okay? So if you tap into that well, you'll be able to lead them and give to them without, like, you know, that doesn't mean that when you get a reaction, you don't understand where they are regarding your chart, but you still speak life into them. And as you speak life into them, you still complete your steps. But little do you know, like, as you speak life into them, they'll give you enough to, in the process of where you're still building, or whether they catch up or they catch on, you'll still be able to stay afloat. You have to still keep moving forward. You have to do your job. You have to complete your steps to success. You might need to do your steps to success twice, but you have to love them and meet them where they are. Just love on them. Be genuine. Like, you have to be genuine. Like, you cannot, it's not about you. You were put in this business to serve, not to be abused, but to serve. And when I say not to be abused, if they're not responding to you, baby, stop texting them. Like, you're the one that keeps texting them. Stop texting them. And if they drop in your heart, then say, oh, hey, you were on my mind, just thinking about you, have a good day. If they don't write you back, you shouldn't feel some type of way, because you were just releasing what God gave to you. If you feel some type of way, you need to check your intentions. Your intentions are wrong. What are some of the self-development tools you can do for yourself over your own thoughts of disbelief in yourself? What are some self-development tools you can do for getting over your own thoughts of disbelief in yourself? So I had to, my Jesus time, my Jesus time to me, y'all, is my step one. It's what takes care of me. It makes me a better wife. I remember the first time that I was mean to my husband, and I felt the Holy Spirit say sorry. And I was like, no, like, what do you mean? I'm not gonna say it. He wrong. Like, he got me messed up. Like, he needs to see where I'm coming from. And I was like, ugh. I was like, hey, Brene, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Now, you shouldn't have said. Now, I wanted to say, but you shouldn't have said what you said. But I was like, no, like, I need to have that conviction in my heart to do the right thing, regardless of what everybody else is doing. And so as I spent time alone, I started to believe in who God said I was. So you can't tell me who I'm not. You can't tell me I won't be making millions a year. You can't, because I know who I am in Christ. So the more I started to read his word and connect with, like, the devotionals, start with a devotional. I love discovering God day by day. I love even this. Like, this was a pivotal one for me as well. Really just getting that. That's how I started to have my belief in me. Like, for real, beyond my abilities. That's the craziest thing, beyond my abilities. I hope that answered your question. If not, you can drop some more. How do you create the poll post on Instagram? Okay, Candace, you're gonna, that's not what this is for. So I can, if you want to inbox me, I can show you how to do that. The one reason I love, you're welcome. What is your method of adding people to your net? Oh, you know what? Follow on Instagram. So it's real simple. You just have to hit that little button in the upper right-hand corner on the story. But I have to show you. Yeah. What is your method of adding people to your network on Facebook? I add either using host to post. Actually, I'm so far behind. Jesus help. Okay. Wow. I use host to post, or I will add friends of friends, and I blitz. So that's a great way to build your network. Start talking to people, because then you'll have people outside of your immediate Facebook circle, and you'll have new networks. So go out and blitz somebody. Do you have any tips for getting to conference over my traveling anxiety going to conference? My son has special needs, and my heart is racing already at the thought of leaving him and my other two. We are driving from Texas. Travel anxiety going to conference. You know what? If I were you, I would you need some friends that can pray with you. And they might have to pray you through the entire thing. But you're going to have to give that over and understand why you're going. You're going to be a better mom. You're going to present better opportunities. So pray over the discernment of who your kid is going to stay with. If whoever they're staying with, tell them they need to send you pictures all the time. And if you're driving, maybe get an Airbnb and bring your family with you if you can bring the sitter. Just know that you won't be around them, but they'll be in your presence. But I would just pray over who's going to keep them, have high communication, and then just understand why you're going and how important it is, and it's only a few days. But that's definitely a prayer thing. What did she? Okay, they got off. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Okay, I think that was it. I don't think anybody else had any other questions. If you did, I'm so sorry if I missed it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging with me. The reason, if anything, y'all, the reason why I'm still here is because I love the company. The integrity of the company is beyond belief. The people that I've been able to connect with truly love me. They want to see me do well. I've never been in that environment. How in the world do you leave something where people are so genuine and love you more than at times you even love yourself? The products are superb. They're top of the line. They're all natural. They're plant-based. They've never put us in a position where they compromise our integrity of talking to our customers or talking to our teams. They always deliver. If you get a bonus, they're always setting you up to make money, finding different ways in order to help us grow and go beyond $1 billion. Like, Mark's not playing. Like, we're going beyond $1 billion. And the question is, are you going to be a part of that, or are you not? Now, we'll say this. We have had different things where people abused it. Cindy says she prays people in and she prays people out for a reason. She says that for a reason. Why? Because anybody can go on the website and sign up. Anybody can come in here and take advantage of the money that we have on the table. So sometimes you got to go to your knees and say, hey, God, this person, I don't think is really for us. I don't think they have the heart of the company. Can you remove them? And yeah, it may hurt a little bit when you remove them. But let me tell you, she might have prayed these people out, and be honest, because they didn't have the heart of serving. And in order to do well here, you have to serve. But it'll make you a lot of money. Serving is what made me a millionaire. And I love serving my team. Like, through the good and bad, I love serving my team. I love them so much. Being able to be a part of their growth, being able to go through them through life things. Like, so much of my team is like legit family. Like, they're legit family to me now. So I love this company. They're family. Even outside of Zayden being, and they don't have nothing against Black people. They love us. What? All right, before I hop off here, and I prayed on this. So I'm praying that it comes out right. And it's not just the Black culture. I think it has a lot to do with people who have never had anything in life. But specifically when it comes to Black people, a lot of times we have a spirit of victimization and a spirit of just feeling like somebody's always out to get you. I know I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying how, in the work field, for real, like there are honestly things that we battle. You may be discriminated against because of your race, but right now, the only thing that discriminates you, is that a word? I think so. The only thing that discriminates you is your work ethic. And that's what I love so much about it. It was an even playing field. It's an even playing field. Yeah, you might have people who will respond to you quicker because my people think I'm on one. Yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, the playing field is still even. It's not like when I go into a job and somebody else determines whether I get a promotion or not. It's not like that. But yes, I have to work. Yes, I have to work. Yes, I have to work. You gotta work. And sometimes we don't like to work. I'm just going to be real. And that's not even Black people. That's just people in general. Sometimes we don't like to work. Sometimes we want the easy route. It's easier to be on child support, food stamps, and live in the projects. It is. I get it. And that's not just Black people. Again, that's just people, period. But eventually you got to decide you want something more. And in order to get something more, you have to work. The reason how I got off of food stamps, the way I got out of all those bad situations is I worked my butt off. And so you have to work. And so when you get around people who decide that they can just post on social media and the coins come to them, it's not how this works. You have to work. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. I ain't going nowhere. Like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna work my butt off and I'm gonna get these coins because it's a lot of coins out here to get. It's a lot of coins out here to get. Shout out to my team. They're amazing. We want an ambassador in 2019. We will have multiple ambassadors in 2019, and I'm praying the same for you guys. If you do have more questions, let me know. But good night, guys. Thanks for having me.